G'day, hobbyists, and welcome back to the Hobby Podcast, the number one podcast where we discuss all things TCG, pop culture, and everything in between. It's been a hot minute, but we are back, and it is always my pleasure to be sitting here in the couch with the Colonel on the couch, in the couch. What's up, Leroy?
Dino, hobbyists, it's been a long time between drinks.
Oh my God.
I apologize. We apologize. We've missed this so much.
It's been 6 months since we've recorded in here, and it took us an hour and a half to set it up when it used to take 20 minutes.
It took forever.
Yeah.
And it's crazy as well because some of the last episodes we did were some of the most epic ever.
Yeah.
We were live at a convention interviewing just people, walking around, patrons off the street. We had Lachlan Power on. We had Momentum Man. What happened? Why did we stop?
I know what happened, and we'll talk about it at one point, but it was when you decided to finally join the dark side. And once we were both working within Luna, our time has just gone very, very difficult. But we'll get to that. We can get to that. What have you even been up to anyway? I feel like I haven't seen you in a day or two.
Yeah, man, the last 6 months have been epic. Honestly, I'm sitting down at the end of 2025. This has been the best year ever. We got a dog. So
Franklin.
Little Franklin.
Is he named after any Franklin in particular, like Benjamin Franklin?
No.
Are you an American president enthusiast?
Well, see, that's the thing. We had it in our mind that he was an old proper English dude. So he has this Franklin about him, sophistication.
He'd have a monocle and a cane.
Yeah, but he's a complete Gumby. He is so just uncoordinated now. For any of you that have golden retrievers out there, we had this cute little puppy phase for 3 months, and now he's a velociraptor, and he just runs into stuff and slides over. So we got Franklin. He's absolutely adorable. I left the corporate gig. I am officially done with Coles.
He is part of Luna. God, I've never had to convince somebody to do something so much in my life. Who would have thought convincing one of your best mates to join your booming business would be the hardest thing I'd ever have to do?
I got to tip my hat to the whole team in there for being able to make it happen. There's responsibilities and stuff that we had to get all our ducks in line before I came across, but it's been mental,
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack. To anyone out there that has a dream and kind of wants to follow it, put in the work, go start now, because this was effectively probably a 4-year journey. Going back 4 years ago to starting to do content and starting to, look at cards as more than just collectibles. I had to go through lots of different iterations of what that looked like with, Instagram podcasts and selling cards on my own eBay and Facebook Marketplace and stuff. And then working and surrounding yourself with really good people that empower you to do that. And then to be able to, effectively slide in to a business that's purring. I don't feel like I've worked a single day in my life the last 6 months. And I see your face when I say that.
I'm not even gonna. If we were sitting in the office, I'd say something, but I'm not gonna do that here.
Yeah, but I literally, wake up now every day. First of all, for myself, something I love doing, and my partner, and some of my best friends, and your families. And at the end of the day, we're buying and selling collectibles. It's the coolest thing ever. If you'd gone back to 12-year-old Lee and said, this is what you're going to do when you're older, I'd be like, nah, that doesn't happen. I have to go and do this and this and do uni and all these things. And
how'd you go at uni?
I did a 3-year course in 6 years. So
what was the course?
Animal vet bioscience. So
did you finish it?
I finished it.
Did you get a degree?
Yeah, I just couldn't get past chemistry. Chemistry sucked.
Yeah,
I was no good at it. So
yeah.
But so that's obviously been a massive life change. And to your point earlier, the time into work and the business is something that it's not like you have to do, you want to do it. And it's been really hard to get our schedules to line up.
That's the hardest part, is because when you were working for Coles, hopefully they're not listening, but you had a lot of freedom So, it was basically whatever my schedule was. I was like, all right, we have to record at this time and we could slot in and do an episode. But now, because we work in the same business, it's a lot harder to find that time. But we are going to find that time over the course of 2026. We've promised ourselves that we're going to do it. We're going to keep pumping them out and keep all the content relevant. So strap in. It's going to be a wild ride. Kearnzy, you did mention there, and it was something that you showed me the other day. 4 years ago when you started the journey, it was doing podcast interviews on Instagram. And I was one of those guests. That was how me and Kearnzy and I met. So now that we found the footage that we thought we'd lost, let's get JP to just run a bit of it right now.
You know what's so crazy about that footage is when the upload on Instagram happened, it originally, like, the file became corrupted and we lost it. Like we interviewed.
I remember that. You were shattered. You were like, oh my God, it's gone forever.
It was like an hour and 15.
Because it was a live interview, right? You used to go live on Instagram so people would just watch and everything.
Yep.
And then you would save it at the end. And I think you said you pressed something different to what you would normally press for whatever reason. And it just didn't save or it just disappeared.
Yeah, I think the phone was that hot that when I went to click save, you know how like sometimes when you click on the screen it goes to like a different spot. But I was scrolling through my Instagram the other day and the video was there. So it obviously at some stage had uploaded and I just never knew.
Will you ever grow your hair that long again?
I don't know, man. We got a robot vacuum because Franklin dropped so much hair. If I have hair, Ali's got long hair. Like,
I totally forgot how long your hair was when I met you. And then even then, I don't look as tired as I do now, but I look fatter then than I was now.
You look
it was COVID. So, I was healthy.
The bulk beers at home where, we had an excuse for it because we couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, true.
The last thing I want to mention that's kind of happened over the last break is I finally did it. I finally popped the question and asked Porge to marry me. You know what's so funny is
it only took you way too long.
Yeah, but it was really cute and I completely got her by surprise. She said yes. So now in terms of exciting things for the podcast and business, I'm also going to be planning an engagement and a wedding. So
yeah, no, on behalf of myself, the team and all the listeners, we are stoked.
Thank you.
Well done, mate.
I thought you were going to say, you feel sorry for Porge again, but...
look, I've tried to offer her advice, and if she said yes, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Once she said yes, I'm like, well, at least we're in this together.
That's fair. That's pretty much it for me, man. Like, that's 3 really big things that have kind of been going on. What about yourself?
Much of a muchness, really. Just working like an absolute dog. Just to make sure that our business keeps growing, and it has. It's been growing exponentially. We've signed some really cool deals with some partners. We obviously brought yourself and Jess into the business, so we've got this like ultimate 6 of us that we always sort of planned that that's what it would get to anyway. Now we're locked in and we're planning all this expansion and new ideas and new products and all this stuff for 2026. So that's obviously, been my 6 months. And obviously watching Harry grow, I think I put him on the podcast once, didn't I? I don't know if I did. Maybe I put him on a Whatnot stream. But he's 2 years old now. He's walking around. He's talking. You saw him before. He's more than a handful. But I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, right? So, no, it's been good. It's been good. Obviously moved into the CEO role at Luna, which has been fun. It's been fun. It kept me busy, but it means that we can keep moving forward and keep doing what we got to do. So,
yeah, for sure. I feel like when we talk about putting time aside for the podcast and stuff like that, I know how hard you are working and how you're trying to balance all these things on the go at the moment. And people often say like you're the busiest man in Melbourne, and now working alongside you every day, I see that. I see you're the first guy in the door and the last one to leave type thing. So I think I just give you your flowers really early in the episode.
Thanks, brother.
Keep it up. But I think the best thing to do is, obviously we haven't been behind the mic for a while, is we should do a bit of like a timeline recap of everything that's happened since we last filmed up till
probably
today.
Start where we ended. Like we can sort of quickly touch on the Collect Fest and then kind of just go from there, because there has been a lot of like hobby related stuff for sure, like heaps that has happened in the last 6 months.
Yeah, and we don't really want to skip over some of those really big moments, but also not sit there and deep dive into everything that's kind of happened. So
no, time is of the essence, and we're pretty hell bent on making sure our episodes are no longer than an hour for 2026. Try and keep them short, sharp, and informative, but still have all the things you guys love. We'll bring back the Hobby Rumble, Hobby Heroes, all that sort of stuff. But today is definitely just a catch up right before we launch again into 2026. So that brings us all the way back to Melbourne Collect Fest, which, like you said, was unreal. JP, if you got some footage, roll it now. You can see our booth that we had set up there. We brought Gary King Pokemon down. First time he's ever been to Australia. He was only at that one event. We had the privilege of doing the base set box break on main stage with him. 2 Charizards came out of that box.
Absolutely mental.
And one of them got a PSA 10. Which is mental. Shout out to Matty Collects, my boy. It was him too. You know what was funny is he didn't even have a pack, and I took him out. Whatnot put on drinks the night before the event. And I was like, come with me. We can just eat some food, have some drinks. Got him a few scotches into him. I'm like, just buy a pack. He's like, yeah, all right, F it. I'll do it. Then he ends up hitting the second Zard and it gets a PSA 10. So shout out to Matty. I did tell him if he ever sells it, I'm buying it. I was like, I'll pay you market price, but I'm not going to let you sell that Zard to anybody else. He says he'll never sell it, but he said that before. So, there might come a day where he wants to get rid of it. But yeah, I'll happily buy it because it came from our box break with Gary that we did at Collect Fest. And we graded it, Luna, we sent it off for him as well. So, that was just phenomenal. There were so many great things at that event, but obviously that takes the cake.
Yeah, 100%. That convention for us, and that was a real Everest moment for the podcast because for those of you that saw the booth, shout out to Chris at Collector Space for putting that all together for us. Like we were like a centerpiece at that show, and the events on main stage, because it wasn't just the base box as well. We also had other lives that weekend. Didn't we? Oh, we had the podcast interviews, and then there was more lives across the other shows.
Yeah, I did main stage Whatnot breaks in Brisbane and Sydney. But yeah, Melbourne, it was mainly just the base set box.
And for those of you that have been following us, since the start, Gary was our very first guest on, and have him fly across the world to come spend the week with us, and then his generosity, in the store as well, because we had a pre-launch. We
had the trade night,
and he came, and he's bringing Bandai vintage packs. Yeah, just a box of them,
giving them away,
pack
battling with kids. That was unreal too. He's signing stuff. He doesn't charge for signatures or any of that sort of stuff. Even remember when we first met him, because we obviously met him, but not physically in person, and we knew where he was staying, so we just drove around to the hotel to grab lunch with him, and as soon as we saw him, just come up and hug us. Yeah. We've known him for years. I mean, we have known him for years, but it was like just seeing an old friend. It was just surreal, sort of in that moment. I should speak to him and just see how he's going.
Yeah,
I know, but they're about to, the CollectorCon circuit's about to kick up, I think, for 2026. So he'll be pretty busy, but always good to touch base with a good friend.
Absolutely. And then from there, we had the Brisbane and Sydney shows, which it was, I think, hats off to them. They put on 3 amazing shows. All shows were slightly different. The cool thing for us was Brisbane going up there, seeing the city, jumping on the scooters, flying around, and also seeing the difference of collectibles that come through. I'm not sure if you noticed it, but when it came to buying collections, it felt like each state had different sort of eras of cards and valued different cards differently.
Yeah.
The different kind of markets.
I love Queensland. Queensland market is the best market.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about opening a shop in Queensland, you better do it soon, or we will, because I like Queensland.
Yeah.
Brisbane Collect Fest from a business standpoint was my favorite one. I think it was the one that just in terms of, we got a really large customer base in Queensland anyway, so meeting a lot of customers. But in terms of buying and selling, it was definitely the best for our business. So we'll definitely want to get involved in as many Queensland shows as we can through 2026. But again, it just sort of depends on, when they are and what's required. But yeah, Brisbane and Sydney. Sydney was good fun. Sydney was good fun as well. I've never had so many cash sales. That was something I noticed from Sydney Collect Fest.
Yeah,
But
had to drop the money off at the had to deposit the money.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing either. If the ATO is listening, get out of here. But yeah, no, cash sales are great. But no, they all offered something different. It's exciting. We'll be at all three of them again in 2026, and we'll be in New Zealand, which is the new one that they're adding in. But Brisbane was an interesting one because we were up there Thursday to Sunday, Thursday night to Sunday night, and then Gabe and I were flying out Monday morning to Chicago. So that Sunday night, our flight was delayed by like 2 hours. I think we landed back in Melbourne at about midnight. Gabe and I both went home, just packed our stuff. Gabe basically got home, showered, and went straight back to the airport. I think I slept for like 2 hours and then got up and went to the airport for like a 4 a.m. flight to Chicago.
That is, in
Which
hindsight,
was wild.
It's the craziest stuff ever.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, you're a little bit closer to the airport than Gabe, but like he was an hour and a half drive.
I'm a lot closer to the airport
at
than
home
Gabe,
for an
to
hour.
be fair.
Like, yeah, because going to the National, the biggest card show in the world.
Yeah.
So we've just done 2 awesome shows here in Collect Fest, which, you know, we're kind of like, you know, industry first here, I'd say, for Australia.
For sure.
And then you go to the National in Chicago. Talk us through that, because it's a 5-day show, right?
Yeah, it's mental. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. You walk in the front door, and as far as you literally can see is just like vendors. And then if you eventually do get to the end of that part of the building, you turn right or you turn left, and again, as far as you can see is just like vendors. Now, it is mainly sports. There is a little bit of Pokemon sprinkled throughout, and those guys are obviously really busy. But like you've got the likes of Topps, PSA, Panini, whatnot, like eBay, Golden Auctions, Heritage Auctions, all the big boys. Every single big like business within our space has huge activations there. And it's just crazy. Like we got cards graded by PSA there. Like there, while we were there. Day 1 we went in, gave them like 10 cards. Day 4 when we left, we picked them up and they were graded. Like PSA have a setup. Like you go there and all you can hear is just like sound, because they're just obviously sealing all the cards that they're grading, just going nonstop. But yeah, it was a surreal experience. I think anyone in the hobby, if you ever get the chance, and you really love card shows, like if you're not into the craziness of a card show, because that one, like there'd be, I don't even know what the numbers are, but I think it was something like 150,000 people across like 4 days. Like it's just nuts.
It's massive,
right? Because the first day, the Wednesday, is like VIP only. And it's only from like 3 o'clock till 8 o'clock. And then it's 4 days of just like chaos.
I remember when you guys were over there, my algorithm changed to a lot of like reels and stuff from there. And I was seeing like 13-year-olds walking around with briefcases with like $1 million of cards just sitting, like walking around these conventions. Like,
I reckon, I was watching King of Collectibles the other day, and Ken Golden said something, and I can't remember the exact number, but it'd be like at least $1 to $2 billion worth of trading cards on that floor, or like sports cards and trading cards, like in that building, which is massive. I can't explain like just how big it is. I don't know how many football fields it would be, but it would be like a lot of them. Like it's just that big.
Was there a card that you saw which was like a standout? It's the coolest like collectible, and what did you pick up?
Yeah, I mean, like not in terms of like buying or selling, because their prices for Pokemon over there were cooked. Like, you know, there's a significant value difference between our dollar and their dollar, yet everything they had priced there was priced at like our dollar, which is just like, I'm like, well, that makes no sense. I'm like, if I just look this up on eBay right now, you're basically pricing it 30% more than what the last sold is, like in terms of what it is for us. So we didn't buy a lot. I sold quite a few things there. As soon as I saw that, I was like, well, I'm glad I brought all these slabs then, because I'm going to get a lot more for my money here. Basically, I was selling them for like full price to a vendor because they were overpricing them. So that worked out well for me. It was an easy, quick way to move money. But yeah, it saw some cool stuff, like, you know, Heritage Auctions, I think, had a PSA 9 Illustrator Pikachu like on display. So like it was literally like this far from my face. Saw some like T206 Honus Wagners, which is like that. They're like PSA 1's like $5 million. You know, so you see that kind of cool stuff, and then you walk around and the vendors, like some guys have, millions of dollars worth of baseball cards. There's a lot of baseball stuff in there. Because the way the National works is it's like a, what's the word? It's kind of like a, oh, God. It'll come to me, but...
Is it like the center show? Is it like the annual kind of like centerpiece as far as...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like if you're a vendor there, as long as you keep booking like the year and year after, you've always got your spot. Until you don't want to go anymore, then they open that spot up for someone else.
It's like a reoccurring membership kind of thing.
Yeah, which is why if you go there, like 50% of it is these really old blokes with just really old baseball stuff, which is like a massive bulk of it. So, whilst the show is massive, for me, for Gabe and I, like we would walk past half of it and just be like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's just not our business. Like it's cool stuff, but it's not our business. So yeah, that's what I thought was interesting. That's why there's not really that much Pokemon there, because the Pokemon vendors are all on these wait lists waiting for some old bloke to be like, yeah, I'm not going anymore. And then that spot opens up and they can grab their tables. So I can't remember what, God, I've said it a million times and now as soon as I need it, I don't know what the word is. But anyway, yeah, that was the National.
So Luna needs to jump on the wait list so we can start vendoring at the National.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know what the tax implications are, to be honest. And with old Trumpy doing what he's doing, yeah, he wouldn't make it easy for us to get the money out of their country and bring it into ours. So
that's fair enough.
So no, you probably won't see Luna at the National in Chicago, but you will, and you would have seen us at the Oz National in Australia, which, funnily enough, those guys were at the National. We hung out with them while we were there. Shout out to Kyle and Connell from Boot. They're great blokes. But yeah, so that show was straight after, or not long after we got back. So that was good too.
Yeah, I loved I think in terms of like just like calm fun, the Oz National was great because I don't know if you remember, but all of us vendors hung out at the end of day one. So
yeah, because they had a trade night.
They had a trade night. So
upstairs.
At the trade night, all the vendors, we got together with Zach and Isaac for a mint. We got together with the Trident boys. Like everyone just kind of came together and, we knocked back a few Pepsi Maxes and it was
Pepsi Max.
Yeah, it was loads of fun, and that was this is the second year they've done this now in at Marvel Stadium. I think it's called Marvel Stadium.
It is, yeah.
And that's a really, really well-run event as well.
It is a well-run event. It is a good room, a good venue. I really enjoyed it. Great show. And looking forward to it this year. Then we had the privilege of going to PAX, which is the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere.
It's like the National, but it's all pop culture and video games.
I'd say it's driven by video games, and then it's kind of spread its wings, and now they've got a huge tabletop hall, which, leans into trading cards. So like when Kearnzy's talking about seeing Luna at the National in Chicago, probably not. Seeing Luna at PAX in Melbourne, probably yes. Like that sort of makes more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really cool. We ran the metazoo Learn to Play there for that event, which, we've had Charlie on the podcast and they're now up to set 3s coming out shortly.
I think, just released in America. We should have it in Jan.
Yeah. But, that was another really awesome event to get there and just seeing how many people were open to picking up a new TCG, I shout out to the team that put that booth together. Banter,
Australia's #1 TCG distributor.
It was awesome. It was lots and lots of fun.
It was unreal, man. It was unreal. And like you said, people did really pick it up and sit down and enjoy it. Anybody that sat down and played it were like, this is actually really fun. And it is really fun. And I think Charlie knows that as long as they just keep producing good quality stuff, good quality products, and the gameplay remains simple, enjoyable, but they slowly add to it, at some point it will click. Like it will be, this metazoo will be something one day. It's not just going to fizzle off like the other one did, because it is fun.
Yeah, I mean,
it's run by the right people, bro. They know what they're doing.
We were opening Torrential Tides on live stream, a few months ago, and we pulled the Alt Loveland Frogman, which booster boxes are 2/3 the price of Pokemon, but it's one of the biggest hits, and it's double the price of some of the latest Pokemon hits.
Yeah.
Like you pick up an SAR Charizard for $500-$600, and this Loveland is like $950. Like people will catch on that you can branch outside of Pokemon and collect. But for me, PAX was like, it was the first year I didn't go as a patron. So I actually had like you know, the year before, obviously we went and did a lot of content, and I was only
We were there as content creators, like,
yeah,
but we could do more patron sort of stuff.
get around, play more games, you know, talk to more people. So for me, I mean, it was my own fault. I only went on the Sunday, but I really have to prioritize making sure I go Friday, Saturday if I'm not required to vendor all 3 days. Because
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody did it right as well in the sense of just taking an hour and just like go walk around, sort of enjoy it. Go look at the things you want to look at. But yeah, I think there's definitely big opportunity there for Luna in terms of business. So we'll see how we go.
For sure. I think it's a really, moving on from conventions, it's a really good time to mention we've had 2 cards in Pokemon that have dropped in the last kind of 6 to 9 months, which have completely like changed the landscape of grading in terms of...
I'd say 12 months, right? Van Gogh was like about 12 months ago.
Oh, was it 12 months?
I think so. I feel like it was.
Yeah. So the Van Gogh Pikachu and the Japanese...
The Burgachu.
The Burgachu. There's been over 200,000 cards graded of the Burgachu, and the Van Gogh is sitting at about 80,000 at the time.
That's
of filming
PSA
this.
10s, right?
No, it's PSA grading for 200,000, but it's got a strike rate of like 90%. PSA 10.
It's the most graded. It's the most graded PSA 10. The Burgachu, the Little Macca's Pika. Which is crazy. Imagine printing a card quality so good that it just goes in a pack to go with a cheeseburger, but then you can't print like the hit cards out of sets, like, the SAR Charizard out of Phantasmal. They're all crook. They're all to the left or to the right, but you get the Burgachu perfect.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's in Japanese or
it is.
It's in Japanese.
So it's 2 different factories, but still, like, how hard is it? It's got to be the same printing and cutting machines, surely.
I just find it really weird, like the mindset of collectors at the moment, because we've spoken before about, in basketball, Wembanyama, in terms of grading Wembies, he's already like surpassing Kobe, LeBron. Like, he's going to be the most graded card of all time, you know, in terms of sport. Yeah. And then we get this like Pokemon promo that you literally get for free. You could buy the promo for $20, and so many of them are being graded at the moment. So many of those, like, grading's not cheap. Grading across the world.
What you should do is just buy, if you can find them, buy as many as you can and just fill a binder up with them.
Fill a binder.
Because like the Van Gogh was worth nothing too when it came out. Like it as always, it started high and then it just sizzled down exactly like the Burgachu. And then it just popped back off. It's funny when you talk about the National, there was a guy there, a Pokemon vendor. He had 300 sealed Van Goghs and he had about 70 PSA 10s and just had them all stacked up. And I'm just like, and at that point in time, the PSA 10 was still like $1,400. I was like, man, there's like, 140 grand worth of slabs right there, all in Van Goghs. But you look at them and you're like, but there's heaps there.
Yeah.
Like, why is that $1,400?
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense because there's just so many of them.
The other like honorable mention on that is the Sunbreon, or the Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions.
Yeah.
That has, like, the Moonbreon, that has surpassed that massively on the market.
It makes sense for me, though, because that card is hard to pull. Yep. It's hard to pull. There is like 30 plus SIRs in that set. It's a holiday set, so there's no booster boxes. That makes sense. Like that's how the hobby should sort of go. Like, that's the kind of rarity where it checks out and makes sense. When you compare it to like these Burgachu promos and there's like 200,000 of them, it's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. But the Burgachu's only worth like $150 or $170 in a PSA 10 now anyway.
The in terms of grading, there was also some massive news as well, only really, really recently, with the company that owns Collectors Holding.
Collectors Holding is the company.
Is the company that owns PSA
and SGC.
Now also owns Beckett.
Well, yeah, I guess I haven't actually read up to see if it's like been an official sale, but it sounds like it is. But then a senator came out in the US and said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. And it's basically called like an inquest, because if they own Beckett, they own like 80% of this market. And like, I think it's almost illegal. They're like, you can't do that because, you just, even if they're like, we're going to run them all individually and separately, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you still can just dictate exactly what's going to happen. I saw a funny thing too. They're like, oh, now watch Beckett finally get upcharges, because there's no upcharges with Beckett. But it's an interesting thing. There's obviously going to be a lot more that happens, I think, long term around that purchase.
I know we've spoken about PSA versus Beckett. It was one of our rumbles in the past, and they want to maintain brand independence and stuff like that. But do you look, because Beckett, like knowing that it's now going to be owned, if it all goes through by the same company, does that make you want to grade with them even less now? And
there's nothing in this world that could make me want to grade less with Beckett anyway, because of the experience that we had, and which is why we don't grade with Beckett anymore. So I'm probably more inclined now, knowing that if they're going to shake up the company a little bit and remove cut out the CEO in there that got done for like money laundering and all that sort of stuff anyway, I'd be more inclined to grade with Beckett now. But the only reason that you would grade with Beckett over PSA, unless you're just a fanboy, is for the black label. That's it. Like, that's the only reason. Yeah, otherwise, a PSA 10, you'd just rather get a PSA 10.
And you don't think the black label, is diminished by like maybe the change of ownership and the fact it all falls under the same umbrella? You still think
it shouldn't, based on the way they say they're going to run it, but that's all BS anyway, really. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. I think PSA, unfortunately, are just like, they just hold the market value. Like until they really do something wrong, and my God, have they gotten close recently in terms of doing something wrong. Until they really just completely lose all market like faith, they're just going to be the kings. Like, I really love tag grading. I think I put tag grading second after PSA. Like in terms of personal grading, I'm going to grade with PSA, and then I'm going to grade with tag. Going nowhere near Beckett. And unfortunately, CGC I've always loved, but people they can't get around it. Like they're, it's the only one that's currently not owned. Oh, well, tag isn't either, but like, out of the original big three, which is PSA, Beckett, and CGC, they're the only ones that aren't owned by collectors holdings or whatever they are. So yeah, no, for me, it's PSA and tag. Tag slabs look so good. So good. They feel so good. You've got the QR code. You get so much information. It's a 1 to 1,000 scale. So something really interesting, like when you do just the normal submission, it won't put the score number up in the QR code. But if you hit 900 or above, they automatically put that in there. So like we did a couple of submissions. We hit like a 991, a 992. I think the highest graded card they've done so far is a 998. And there's no cards that have hit 1,000, which would be perfect, right? It's like the black label. So anything above 900 is pristine as well instead. So it's cool. I think tag over the next 2-3 years is going to become number 2.
Yeah. We've only got a really small sample size, but in terms of like selling slabs online, we've always seen that the market isn't receptive as CGC. Normally, CGC 10 sells for about 85% of what a PSA 10 does, even though it's like a perfect card.
Yeah.
But we've run a whole bunch of tag auctions, and they've been really well received and selling really well at the moment.
They have, and they've mostly been like mid-end stuff too. Like, we didn't run any, like, if you look at what we're selling on eBay in terms of PSA, there's like PSA 9 lovebirds and that kind of stuff. So, we're getting to a point probably through 2026 when we're like, all right, well, now let's slide a bunch of heavy hitters into tag and then put them up and see how they kind of compared to our price for PSA. But you're right, there is some tag 10s that have gone for more than PSA 10s, particularly tag 10s, like I said, that are pristines, that have that score of, 900 plus, or like 990 plus, I should say, because I'm pretty sure it's 99. 990 or 991 is pristine. It's like the last sort of 10 in there, something like that.
We had another really, really big moment for the store with a collaboration with one of the world's biggest DJs. He's someone for us that growing up, we heard him through the speakers, we heard him at the local clubs. He came out here, Steve Aoki, obviously a massive collector in the hobby.
Yeah.
Aoki's card house is something that he celebrates, it's like his passion. And we were fortunate enough to be one of only a few stores in Australia that were able to collab with him. Talk us through it, because yourself and Gabe went out there.
It was fun, bro. It was fun. Like you said, man, I used to go to like Stereo Sonic and Future Music Festival when he was up and coming. He was still big then, but like he wasn't as big as he is now. Like now he's massive, right? It's because he's been doing it for years, 15, 16, 17 years or something. So yeah, when we had that opportunity, I was like, oh, this will be fun. This will be fun. He was initially meant to come to the store, but his schedule made it a little tight. So unfortunately for Gabe and I, we had to go to the festival and go backstage and do it in his green room, which was sick.
Oh, you're so hard done by. Sounds horrible.
It was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. Bumped into some other friends there too. Danny Grant's a friend of mine. He's best mates with Mim's brother, so it was cool to see him there and just catch up with him. But then obviously all the stuff we did with Steve as well was unreal fun. We got to chat with him for quite a bit. Then we got to obviously do the break, which I think took like an hour and a half, 2 hours. We've got that all as a full episode. We might even throw it up on either we'll start a Luna YouTube and throw it up there, or we can chuck it up here at some point. Maybe we'll become the Luna podcast or the Hobby podcast. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what we're going to do. I was just thinking about it before while you're talking. But no, Steve Aoki, let's roll a clip. JP, run that Gold Star chat. This is a sick one.
If I got $2 million offer on the full Gold Star set, I don't know if I can sell it. It's the most premium Pokemon set you can collect.
Yeah.
Easy. That is.
And I don't think they're ever going to do it again. Like they do like to recycle things, but I just can't see.
There'll never be anything as
like the Greninja
rare.
Gold Star that they did. They just made it a promo, right? So it's not a real Gold Star.
If they did a reprint of the Gold Star set,
It'd have to be short run.
What's going to pump the original stuff?
It's just going to go up even more because they get more awareness on the set.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
and then everybody
100%.
wants the original copy.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Evolutions.
Yeah, base set.
Like, it just made the base set more valuable.
Yeah, and I was so worried about that. I was like, oh, but people can just get Evolutions now, so.
But it's not the same, you know what I mean? It's not base set.
High grail collectors
want the original.
They're not going to go for the Evolution set.
Yeah.
So you can see there, like just chatting with him, he's got a full set of Gold Star PSA 10s where like, and I think he said in that clip, if somebody even offered him $2 million US, like he wouldn't sell it. But there's a part of that story that you don't see in that clip because he had 2 of the Torchic PSA 10s. And he sold one, but he sort of went back and forth. This guy was like, I'll give you $100,000. This is a little while ago. He's like, nah, I want like 120. And then one sold a day later for $200,000. And the guy's like, all right, I'll give you 120. He's like, nah, one just sold for 200. Now I want like $300,000 because like he doesn't really want to sell it because I think it's like pop 14 or 15, the Torchic PSA 10 from EX Team Rocket Returns. So, you know, just like even for him, it's not, it doesn't come down to just the money. It's like, you know, he knows how rare the stuff is that he's got and how hard it is to find. And he genuinely loves it. Like when we did the opening with him, we gave him a Tournament of Power booster box, which he loves, Dragon Ball. And then he pulled his first God pack that he's ever pulled out of that set. Probably, and the first time Gabe and I had seen it as well. We'd never seen it. So like that was really cool. We gave him some AFL. It was fun, but it was like, he just had no idea.
Yeah.
He pulled like a Charlie Kerno that was probably worth like $500-600. And he's like, you just had like no idea. And that's fair. Like he doesn't know the game, right? And then we just opened, you know, other stuff, Pokemon, One Piece, Magic the Gathering. Yeah, it was good. It was a nice experience, man. Nice to meet his crew. His wife's lovely. Shout out to Sasha. She pulled all the hits too. And I said to Steve at one point, I'm like, oh, it should be Sasha's card house, not Aoki's card house. Like, she's getting all the hits. He was eating that up. So yeah, it was good, man. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun just to hang out with someone that obviously is quite famous, but when it comes to it, he's no different like to you and I and all the listeners in terms of just the hobby and loving the hobby and what he likes to collect and appreciates and loves. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, for sure. He's someone that you look to and you're like, oh, he collects Spider-Man Topps Chrome and he collects Magic the Gathering and Dragon Ball, and he's like, at the core, he is what a collector is, you know. So, and I'm glad that you guys had such a great experience with him, where he was organic and, you know, just really authentic person.
Well, that's a good shout because we asked him like what his grail was, and he's like, I just bought it. You could probably roll the clip here, JP, if you want.
I'd love to know, what's your grail of your collection, or have you not obtained it yet?
Well, okay, so I just acquired it. To me, it's like the biggest grail of all TCG.
Yep.
It's the most important grails of all TCG.
Okay, I've got some things in mind.
Yeah, so I'll let you guys guess.
I'm thinking, I already know you've got the Illustrator. I already know you've got the Illustrator. Is it Pokemon?
No.
No?
To me, it's bigger than that.
Okay.
It's
Alpha Black Lotus?
Yeah.
In a 10?
PSA 10.
It's signed?
By Christopher Rush.
Oh, wow. 10-10?
10-10.
Wow.
The only one that exists.
But you can see like it's a Alpha Black Lotus from Magic the Gathering signed by the artist, and it got a PSA 10-10. So like 10 on the SIG, 10 on the card, and it's an Alpha Black Lotus. Like that is grail spec. Like, I don't know what else in Magic the Gathering could possibly be harder or rarer to find in terms of value. Just so, like, he's a purist. He is a purist.
As someone who doesn't collect Magic outside of Avatar, Last Airbender, I would prefer that over a First Ed Charizard by Arita 1010. I think the Magic Black Lotus 1010 auto, even though I don't collect it,
It's the only one in the world.
It comes across as like the absolute pinnacle of TCG collecting.
Which is exactly what he said. Like, and you're talking to a guy that's probably got obviously millions in Pokemon, but millions in big sports cards too, because he loves Steph Curry. He's shown us some of the Steph Curry cards and slabs he has, and I'm just like, brother, like it's just like got a lot of good stuff, right? But then, yeah, for him, when Gabe asked him explicitly, like, what's your grail? He's like, well, I actually just picked it up. And then when he told us, I'm like, that is hobby grail. That's like trading card grail. Like, that's the best. Yeah. And like you said, I don't know. I mean, I like it and it would be cool, but a First Ed Charizard signed by Arita that was a 1010, like, for me, I don't know. That's pretty nuts.
Pretty cool. Or maybe one of his Shoheis, because I know he's a massive Shohei collector too.
Yeah, he was buying Ohtani's. He's been buying Ohtani's for a long time too. Kind of got onto that train early. But yeah, he sells some cards, but he collects a lot. Like, and I think all his stuff just stays in the PSA vault. So, because Gabe was like, do you ever pull it out and look at it? And he's like, no, don't have it. He's like, I don't have it. Like, it's not in my house. Like, and it checks out. Like, why would it be? You've got like probably tens of millions of dollars worth of stuff. Why would it just be at your house in Vegas that you're never at?
Yeah.
Like, he invited us over to his house though. So when I go to, and when you're coming, at this point in time, you're coming. Got some whatnot KPIs. But when we go to the National this year, it's you and I going, and we probably will stop, hopefully, as long as timeframes work, we'll probably stop in Vegas on the way. Go break some cards at his house and then keep going.
Please don't be on tour during then.
Yeah.
Please be at home.
Well, he's been to the National before because we asked him about that. So, yeah, it'll be one of those things. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll just be in Vegas for 2 days anyway, just hanging out. Maybe we can still go to his house and just jump into the foam pit or jump off his roof into the pool. I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
So, yeah, we go. But yeah, shout out to Steve Aoki and his team. They were phenomenal to work with. And he said anytime he comes to Odds, he wants to work with us again. So that'll be a bit of fun.
Well, I know we've had a little bit of time off, but I think we should probably have a really quick look back at some of the episodes that we did do this year. And I mainly want to focus on one because we had the hottest take out there. We absolutely nailed it. We were spot on with Destined Rivals just being one of the best sets
Knew it.
of all time.
Told ya, bruh.
It is still a set, even now with a slight regression in Scarlet and Violet. Destined Rivals is still so strong.
It is.
We're seeing it here in the Australian market at the moment. The booster boxes are still up around $600. The chase cards are they're going up. The Garchomps, the Mewtwo's of the world, they're not regressing back. People still want those cards.
They're beautiful cards, bro. And I said it, like, I was just like, and it's the first Rocket set since EX Team Rocket. Like, it was just going to find its groove and resonate. But I remember when we sat here and we went through all the cards in that set and we're just like, that's sick, that's sick, that's sick, that's sick, that's sick. Like, that's what it takes for a set to be cracker, not just like 2 good cards. Phantasmal Flames, perfect example. 2 Charizards, rest of it's pretty pus. So it won't be the set that like Destined Rivals is going to be because there is just so much more to chase, so much more to love. And it was the first time we had a taste of Team Rocket again in decades. So, we were right. We usually are. But yeah, felt good to be right about that one. Because I remember when I told you, I'm like, we're going to call it. We're crowning the greatest set.
Yeah,
it's like we're putting ourselves out there because if it flops, we look like idiots. But it didn't. We were right.
Even going from the hits down to the second tier in that set, the Misty Psyduck, Misty's Lapras, Ethan's Typhlosion, you've got the Houndoom. These cards here are still like motoring. It is. In terms of like how wide the set is, it's Evolving Skies 2.0 with the value of cards.
Yeah, the term of like the amount of hits. Higher end hits. Yeah.
Absolutely. The top 6, 7, the top 10 are all over $150. Yeah. And then you've got that next $70 to $100 tier. I like what you mentioned in terms of Phantasmal because it's just Champion's Path 2.0.
Yeah.
There's 2 Charizards at the end and the rest of the set sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
But like that's still a great set. And I love Champion's Path. That was a great set too. But in terms of like, you know, the greatest sets or the ones that the investor bros should be jumping in on, Destined Rivals, we called it early, was always going to be one of those. Like, you know, it's obviously going to be 151 Prismatic Evolutions and Destined Rivals that I think are the 3 real big heavy hitters, the standouts from like Scarlet and Violet. Like when you look at Sword and Shield and you've got Evolving Skies. What are the other good ones?
Crown Zenith.
Crown Zenith. Yeah, Crown Z. That's huge.
Astral Radiance and Lost Origin are
Lost Origin. That's the other one.
Yeah.
There you go. I was trying to think of them, and all that kept coming into my mind was Chilling Rain. And I'm like, that's expensive, but it ain't good. Yeah. I was like, it still sucks.
It's Fire Chicken or Gold Snorlax.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so that was a good app.
We spoke about CT scanning, and that was a really big thing in the market there for a few months there. And I haven't seen it. It hasn't been spoken about. There's been nothing really across socials the last real 3-4 months for filming this.
Yeah.
But the one big thing now that we're starting to see and get a lot of queries on is card cleaning.
Yeah.
Cleaning of cards is something.
And card repairs.
Card repairs.
And I experienced this myself.
Something 6 months ago, it was very kind of like frowned upon. Not a lot of people are doing it.
Yep.
It's not something that we offer yet, but we are getting more and more queries, and you are seeing more and more videos of the PSA 5 that now is a PSA 7, and it could be 20 grand difference.
Yeah.
On that
well,
card.
I had a 6 that I bought a PSA 6, and you could see where it had like a stint just in the corner. And I sent it off to get repaired. I broke it out, sent it off to get repaired, and he got that out just with like humidifying the card and just like with a heat pen and just like, you know, sandwiching it in and letting time do its thing. Because it's just cardboard at the end of the day, right? And I sent it back to PSA and it got an 8. Like it didn't jump to like a 10, but it got an 8, which was, you know, probably doubled its value in terms of at least what I paid for it when I sold it. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that CT scanning kind of just phased out, because that was like causing waves. People were concerned. I always saw it as more of a positive thing anyway, like because it's expensive to do. And if anything, like if you had sealed product, you could just scan it to make sure it's authentic and make sure it's real. Because I've seen a lot more videos lately in the US of people with these vintage boxes, they cut them open and they are fake. Like, and they legit people really thought they were real. Like, there's a lot of vintage resealing going on. When you think about it, there seems to be so many vintage sealed boxes around. Like, of course, there's going to be a large percentage of them that have to be fake, because it's just like, how can there still be so many?
Yeah, and like even us in cards full time, I got done with a collection of blisters only recently, where we got a whole bunch of blisters and they'd been resealed, and like when you're looking at them, you just like couldn't tell.
That's like modern sleeved blisters Kearnzy's talking about as well. So it's like, it is hard to tell.
Yep.
Like looking at the back of the plastic there.
Yeah.
It is hard to tell. I remember we had somebody come in, because we obviously run consignment at Luna Cards, lunacards.com.au. Go there, hit us up. Just got a new website. Looks lush. We had somebody come in with some vintage packs, and we looked at them and we're like, well, these are resealed for sure, bro. Like, we've seen and opened enough of these to know that those are. Now, whether they were aware or not, that's up to them. But we obviously were like, yeah, we're not going to sell those. So it does happen. It is out there. But yeah, CT scanning didn't become a thing. Card repairs is a huge thing. Resealed packs, watch out.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of guests this year, we didn't have a lot of guest episodes at all outside of interviewing people at the show. But I just wanted to quickly talk on some of those special guests, because we had Lachlan Bauer on, who's now obviously a friend of the store.
Shout out, Lockie.
And we got the chance to sit down with Australia's biggest, streamer in terms of video game play and stuff like that. That was really cool. That was a moment. That was, for me, that was like interviewing Tia, interviewing Logan type thing.
Yeah. Like with the guest list in general is how we get guests, by the way. Everybody's asking, like, how do you get these people on? When I send them an email, I go, well, we've had this person, this person, this person, this person. So then they feel like, oh, well, I must be pretty special then if you've had all those people on. And that's how I get them, just so you know. So you got to start somewhere, right? We got lucky because Gary's a friend of ours, and then we had a connection to Tia, and that was just before she got engaged to Mr. Beast. Now she's massive. I don't even know she was watching her on Twitch the other day. She was doing something on Twitch the other day, playing some kind of video game, but not Lorcana, which is why we spoke to her in the first place. But yeah, we've been so blessed with guests. Whether they are Lachlan Power or they are, Maid of Lucy, friend of ours from Sydney who was on one of our Collect Fest episodes.
Yep.
The guy from that other podcast, I can't remember, but you get a mention too, bro. We've had like just some really good guests.
You can't comp this.
That's the one.
That was a really, really good chat.
Yeah.
It was it was good. It was a really good weekend. I'd love to, in terms of guests, I'd love to bring back some guest episodes this year. I want to put the challenge down. There's a few content people that I've been talking to. When I say I've been talking to them, I was talking to them 6 months ago and we never made it happen. I'd like to try and rekindle those and get those, cranking again.
Yeah.
Is there someone that's kind of like your next kind of target? Like, do you like Deep Pocket Monster? Like, I'd love him to be a guest this year. Or is there someone in mind that comes to you?
Well, like I told you, I was talking to somebody as well, who is on Netflix. So I want to get them on still, and have that conversation because it's a really good insight into that sort of part of the business too. I would really like to just know who our viewers want us to chat to, because obviously if we chat to who people you want to chat to, we're getting you a little bit closer to them as well. So, let us know who you would like us to try and speak to, and I'll do those emails and see who we can get on board.
I love that. I'm going to come out and make a statement. This is
dangerous. This is dangerous. Kearnzy makes a lot of statements.
Actions speak louder than words, but I'm going to put it down so you all know, the listeners know, that my absolute top guest is someone who's not TCG related, but is pop culture related. It's Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is if we interview Henry Cavill, that's where I feel like we've made it. I don't care how many views.
I don't even know who that is.
You know who Henry Cavill is. Superman. He's the Witcher. You've got to be kidding me. You don't know who Henry Cavill is? You're full of shit.
God.
No way.
I'm going to have to Google this.
Oh, mate. But he's a World of Warcraft player. He builds his own PCs. He's an absolute heartthrob.
Oh,
he's
that guy.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, dude. He's a good looking bloke too. Jesus.
That is.
So I know him as Superman.
Yeah.
That's where I would have seen him.
So for me, Henry Cavill, that is my absolute top tier. That is that is the goal.
Yeah.
I would say for me to have a guest on the show. So.
All right. Well, we'll see how we go.
I wanted to put that out there.
We're going to have to work on the old podcast setup because we're not doing it in this booth anymore. That took way too long.
An hour and a half to set
up. I want to
be
able to walk in, press play, walk out. That's what we need to be able to do. So we're going to work on that too. Some exciting things coming on that front. But I guess now we get to talk about everything that everybody else wants to talk about, which is the market, because we are running out of time. I know we said we were going to try and keep this to an hour. We've got 8 minutes left to squeeze in a bit of stuff. So let's see if we can get there.
Love it.
The market in 2025. Wow. I've experienced two other bull markets in my hobby collecting career, but this one was just insane because it was modern, the main one that everybody would have been involved in is 2020-21, which was definitely vintage driven because of Logan Paul's influence and love for vintage Pokemon. So that really sparked that. But yeah, having Scarlet and Violet booster boxes come out and be worth it being worth $300 or $400 on release is just insane. So it's been a wild ride. I'm glad it's I wouldn't say it's going to crash because I don't use that word. It's not going to happen. But it's going to peter out and sort of correct itself a little bit. We're already seeing a lot of money move sort of from Pokemon into One Piece, which is just, again, if you've got One Piece, now's the time to sell it. Do not be the guy that's buying it. I'll tell you that much, because it will fall down again, because I've saw it happen. I was collecting and playing One Piece at the end of the last bull market, and I know what, I just sold a couple of One Piece cases that I had because I was like, these are never going to be worth any money. This set sucks. And now they're actually worth some money. So now they're gone.
Yeah, it was mental through the guts of that bull run there, where we would get Pokemon boxes in, and you'd put them on the shelf at 10 a.m. and they'd be gone at 10:30.
Well, we'd sell out at midnight launch, right? Like from Surging Sparks is when it started. Something about that set or just that time in the cycle itself was it'd never been the same since then. It just kind of popped off, and now it's kind of starting to chill out a little bit. I mean, we still are selling everything that we get in terms of modern, but yeah, we're definitely getting more. I feel like we're definitely I don't know. 150
to 200 people coming and lining up from 6 p.m. through till midnight to secure their Pokemon stock.
Yeah.
That's the good times, that's the good times. But, I definitely would say we've seen a bit of a shift from modern Pokemon. People are starting to become more aware on what they're kind of spending. And we're seeing a bit more of a resurgence now with the old vintage stuff again now. So whilst the market has regressed over the last few months in modern, in terms of vintage and that middle, 2008 to 2014, those sets are still pumping.
Well, Sun and Moon's the prime example, right? Nobody gave a shit about that in 21, because it was, basically that was Sword and Shield, and Sun and Moon was the generation before it, so nobody really cared. But to watch team up boxes go from literally at the start of the bull market, they must have been $2,000, and they peaked at 16 grand. Is insane to see just how quickly Sun and Moon moved. I've always loved tag team cards, but they were always $5 to $10. Nobody cared about them. And then out of nowhere, they just became the necessity. In those lovebirds, in 2000 and even in 2000 and probably 2020, 2021, I reckon even the lovebirds alt art was a $40, $50 card. And now in a PSA 10, it's 15 grand. That was the biggest thing. Watching X, Y, and Sun and Moon for me, just boom, absolutely insane through this bull market. I was that's crazy. It was just the last 4 kind of generations, X, Y, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and Scarlet and Violet, the current one, were just popping off. And then not vintage. When we, I remember, I'm not going to tell people what we paid for that base set booster box that we broke with Gary, but we know what we paid. And you think about how much they are now, I was wow. That was 7 months ago.
Yeah.
And it just went off again. Because nobody wanted base set booster boxes then. I originally offered less than 20 grand, just so you go. I'm not telling what I paid for it, but I offered less than 20K to buy that base set booster box. And they're back at 36, 37, 38 grand now.
Yeah. Which isn't even the height of 2021. They were 50
then.
back
Which is nuts.
They were 50 back then. But and if you look outside of just Pokemon, we've got the example with the Magic collector boxes as well. Going back 4 months ago, anything collector box was up around $1,000, whether it was Bloom Burrow or any of those older sets. Final Fantasy dropped, and obviously the Gold Chocobo was a massive chase in there. Those collector boxes were 3,000 AUD. You couldn't get them for anything cheaper.
Yeah.
And only a set or 2 sets later, you get Spider-Man, which the Soul Stone is $20,000 more expensive than the Gold Chocobo. Those boxes have just completely died in the ass at the moment. It's a unfortunate timing of that set coming out, but
it's unfortunate if you're looking to buy it at RRP and flip it really quick. If you're looking for long-term investments, there's probably not a better one in all of 2025 than Spider-Man to be grabbing and putting away. Yeah. When you can get them, buy them and just hold on to them. It's Spider-Man. And that Soul Stone is worth heaps. It's also, they're talking about doing more sets like that, and it's the first Soul Stone. So there's going to be the other, I don't know what the stones are on the glove with the Thanos guy or whatever, but I know it's a thing, right? So as they release more of those, it means people are only going to want the ones before it. So, if you're an investor, bro, invest in Spidey.
Well, think about this, right? You buy a base set box for $40,000. You pull a Charizard, it grades a PSA 10. You sell the Charizard for 40 grand, right?
It's probably, I think the last one sold for 35 US or something for a new cert one.
So to get the hit and it graded 10, you still don't make your money back, right? You could buy a $600 Spider-Man box and pull an $80,000 card raw.
Which is nuts.
I think at the time of filming, there's only about 5 or 6 that have been pulled that are known of.
They reckon that because for whatever reason they couldn't serialize them, but people have speculated that it wouldn't be any more than the Chocobos, which was 77. So, who knows how many are really out there. But God, I would love one. I would sell it, but I would love one.
We have opened a bunch on stream, to be honest. I think I've opened about 4 cases now of Spider-Man in total, trying to pull it. Waiting for that moment, but...
Yeah, we opened one with Steve Aoki, actually. And I was like, today's going to be the day. Because it was his birthday as well. I was like, this is going to be it, Steve. It's coming out today. It didn't come out.
Come out. So where do you think we go from here? Obviously the
I think you're talking about the market.
Yeah.
I think 2026 in my eyes is going to be just slow and steady. Anybody sitting there waiting for a crash, keep waiting. Go to Bunnings and ask them for a long wait. Because the crash ain't coming, but I think it is already correcting and it's going to be a nice, steady 2026 because whilst the market was really hot and has sort of calmed down a little bit, the sets that are coming are some of the best we've ever seen in the hobby, like for Pokemon. So they're not just going to fall on their ass, unfortunately. Like there is a Rayquaza themed set coming, right? Like there is, like Mega is awesome. Like,
the rumor mill is
30th anniversary is in 2026. Like, it'll just be, I think this bull market has reshaped the hobby as 2020 and 2021 did. It reshaped the hobby and then it went through a regression period. This bull market was so much bigger and got so much more worldwide media attention in terms of like just comparing the increase on value proposition compared to the S&P 500, you know what I mean? Like it's been so talked about that it's not just going to fall off. It's not going to happen, but it will regress a little bit. It'll be nice and plateaued. There might be a couple of sets that sit on shelves for a little bit longer where you're able to get it. And yeah, I think we just kind of keep going where we're at. I think it'll just be I think 2026 should be a nice, enjoyable year for everybody where collectors still get what they want. Businesses can still thrive. I think some businesses that have gone too large, too fast will be the ones to suffer as opposed to, collectors as a whole or small online businesses. I think there's still a lot of room and a lot of room to grow. And God knows we will be growing in 2026. So that's all I'll say for Luna. But it's going to be a good year.
There is one possible hand grenade that gets thrown in amongst your prediction. And I'm fully aligned with what you're saying and, from what we're seeing.
Give me the nade. Throw it at me.
But if we get Pokemon Topps Chrome and there's numbered cards in there, that'll completely change the game again.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's not by the Pokemon company for starters. So Topps would have the license to print Pokemon Topps Chrome. So, whilst it's Pokemon, like, it's not the Pokemon company printing that product. There has been some hearsay sorts of things around that and what's coming for 30th. I would much rather experience numbered Pokemon cards, though, in a Topps Chrome product than in a normal Pokemon product, which is why Pokemon probably haven't done it and probably never going to do it because they understand that. Whereas they can go, here you go, Topps. You want to go F that up? Go for it. But like people saying Topps Chrome is going to be what Pokemon are releasing for the 30th anniversary, I don't think so. I think that Topps Chrome might have got a license approval to print something around the 30th or in 2026, but I don't think Topps Chrome numbered cards is going to be what the 30th anniversary is. Actually, I'll explicitly say it right now. It's not going to be that.
A speckled Pikachu signed by the artist numbered to 5.
That'd be nuts, bro. Trust me, I'd have a lot of fun. But we're talking about the Pokemon company itself. I don't think. It won't. They don't print that. Topps Chrome. Topps is its own company. They print this stuff. So
for sure.
Who knows, man? 2026. I just know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be a good year. Oh, can we get Tyre sponsorship for that? It's going to be a good year. Tyres. It's going to be a good year.
Before we have a look ahead at some of the things we're excited for, it's just worth mentioning Riftbound. So Riftbound dropped back in September, I believe, or delayed till October, and based off League of Legends was and is a massive success so far. They've released one set.
Huge success.
Great success.
Great success. That's it. That's what I was looking for.
We have 16 people every single week signing up with a wait list to come and play Riftbound every week. The market is really strong on the desired chase cards. There's signature, character signature cards in there. You can't find stock anywhere. Completely sold out right across the globe. The cards look great.
It's League of Legends, bro. I don't even know anything about League of Legends, but I know League of Legends.
Its following is massive. The IP is huge. Set 2 scheduled to come out soon. This is the first card game since Flesh and Blood. Oh, not even Flesh and Blood. This is one of the first card games that's come out since since Pokemon that at the moment is ticking all boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Collectability, gameplay, card stock. It's looking really, really strong. Hopefully they don't drop the bundle.
It is the shiny new toy. So we know how those go sometimes. But with an IP like League of Legends and the way they're sort of interacting with the online aspect as well, I think it's got the legs. Hopefully it's got the legs. Like, the more the merrier. The more different games that cater to different people's tastes and styles, I think is good for the hobby anyway. So yeah, shout out Riftbound. Shout out One Piece, still there, still around. Bandai, it might be, Dragon Ball Super was a few more years still, I think, before they killed it. So see if Bandai can keep pushing One Piece, and they seem to be doing all right. They finally, one big thing that happened for One Piece this year is they introduced rotation. So that, there's for legal play like Pokemon, they've created rotations. You can't just use all cards from old sets. You need to use the new stuff, which kind of bumps it up from a play aspect because it's such a big playable game anyway. So it might actually, hang around. And it's such a big IP. But yeah, I'm out of One Piece now. I don't have any One Piece left. I had black labels and cases and all that stuff, and I'm out. I'm in Prismatic Destined Rivals and 151, baby. That's it.
The Pokemon train is absolutely purring.
It is, mate. All right, 3 favorite things from this year and 3 things you're excited about for next year. What do you got, Kearns? Fast. We're already 6 minutes over what we wanted to do.
Highlights, definitely joining Lunar Cards full time. Doing Collect Fest Melbourne was lots of fun. That was really, really cool. And experiencing like travel as part of like work for me, being able to take what I've loved doing and what I'm doing now and go and visit people, online in Brisbane and Sydney and connect that way. They're probably like my top 3 for the moment in terms of this. And then what I'm really excited for, I'm excited for the challenge for us to get back in the booth and really prioritize it.
It's a challenge.
In terms of this is fun, this is easy, but it's just finding that time.
It's the hardest part.
I'm excited for growth outside of this is episode 34. I'm excited to sit there and get on new guests and, change and grow the show to how it kind of fits best. And I'm really excited for whatever my collectible journey looks like, because I've gone from master sets to sealed to individual cards. And I don't know what it holds next. I mightn't collect anything for 2026. 2026 might be I'm not buying anything. Or it could be, you know what, I'm going and buying all Heart Gold Soul Silver. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like.
Yep. No, nice.
What about for you?
3 things from 2025. Definitely getting yourself and Jess into the business, locked in as owners, so that our beautiful 6-piece puzzle. Anybody wondering who that is? It is myself, Chris, Gabe, Luke, Jess, and Lee. We are all owner directors of Lunar Cards. There is no room for any others in that one, but we are going to be expanding. That is all I will say on that front. So I was excited to get you guys in and finally have all that locked in. Some of the things that we did on Whatnot over the year, obviously we've grown that platform in this country, but in our business astonishingly, and turned over millions on that platform as a business. But been able to help other people come in and utilize that platform and help their businesses grow and work with other streamers on there, like the Christmas stream that we did where we got 8 of us together and we just gave away stuff all day and everybody sort of rated each other. It was just a lot of fun. So everything we did on Whatnot was amazing.
The boiler room every Tuesday night.
With my smoke machine, man, that thing kills me.
Smoked out.
That thing kills me.
Before you continue, I might just just add on to that in terms of, it was over 12 months ago we had Logan on beta testing. It's crazy the growth and how just perfect that whole thing has been.
Oh yeah, Whatnot, it was going to happen, right? It's a purpose-built platform. It's not another platform trying to be something else that just works, right? Whatnot is a purpose-built platform. It is a live stream selling platform. And when you are that big, I mean, the business I think was recently valued at 12 billion US recently. I was chatting with them. That is a big company, all right? You're going to have haters and you're going to have bad people. And I've said it a million times, right? If something's too good to be true, you go to a stream and a guy's selling Evolving Skies packs for $5 and he scams you, you're the idiot. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, use your noggin. Like, buy off trusted sellers and you're not going to have a problem. Like, right? We've done over 25,000 orders. We have over 3,000 5-star reviews for a reason, because we're a trusted seller on a platform that is built to do what we do. So that's why there's been so much fun and success. There's some big things coming with Whatnot in 2026 that we'll be heavily involved with as well. What was the third thing? You know what? And to be fair, like, it's not hobby related, but in this year I watched Harry go from 1 to 2, and there's such a significant change in a child going from 1 to 2. It goes literally from a baby to a walking little screaming human being. But really enjoyed that process, you know, when I get the time to obviously, you know, see him as much as I can. I see him every day and every night, right? I see him every night and every morning. But yeah, that was probably, I've really enjoyed that over the course of this year too. And then 2026, I'm definitely excited for things that I can't say, but they are all relevant to Lunar Cards and that business's growth and expansion and creating new opportunities for everybody in the hobby, not just ourselves. So there's some really exciting stuff there. I'm really excited to sort of just see where the hobby can go after 2025. I know there's a few new sets and things that are coming out. I'm excited about also getting back in the booth because, you know, we haven't done this in 6 months. And I'm like, I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know if I could spit the thing out in the first take, and I did. What is it called? The intro. You know, so this has been fun. I'm just excited for 2026 in general. It's the year of the horse. So 2025 was the year of the snake. If anybody's into that, I am. I believe it. Year of the Snake is, you know, setting things up and shedding like what you don't need and sort of, you know, aligning yourself where you should be and getting ready, because after the Year of the Snake, 2026 is the Year of the Horse, and that's all about locking in and growth and big things happening. So I know that it's going to happen, and I'm just pumped for 2026 in general. Doesn't come without a few losses along the way, but that's it. If nothing changes, right? So, you know, it's going to be a big year, 2026, and I think it's going to be the year I look back on from a personal and business standpoint and go, that was the one. That was when everything changed.
Love that, mate. Motivating.
Just bring it on. Hurry up. What is it today? Today's the 29th. Get out of the way. What's the 30th today? Is it 30th? 29th. 29th. Cool.
Hobbyists, we're back.
We're back, baby. Is there anything else you got, Kearns?
Hobbyists, today's episode is sponsored by Collector Space. They have recently opened their ever-expanding showroom and collectibles shop and has taken shape in the southeast Victoria.
Boasting display furniture and fixtures for in-home collections and retail spaces, they've been trusted by many of our favourite stores and fellow collectors. Check out their socials for up-to-date info and offerings, and be sure to visit the Collector's Space at 1108 Mulholly Road, Pakenham.
Whether you're a collector at heart or new to the hobby, Collector Space are here to help. So head on down and say good day to Chris and the team at Collector Space, and thanks for sponsoring the episode.
All right, that is Wheels Up, and we are out of here. We will see you on the next one, which hopefully isn't too far away.